So at the outset, I would like to thank AIOS for giving me the opportunity today to present. So I'm talking about the dry eye management. So what is the role of inflammation? First, we have to understand what are the key mechanisms of dry eye. So it's a tear film instability, hyperosmolality, causing cell damage, apoptosis, nerve stimulation, and then turning out to be inflammation, and MMP activation that leads to goblet cell loss, and in turn tear film instability. So MGD also does the same job in this kind of patient. So there is a whole lot of array and spectrum of these kind of disorders that cause these issues in the dry eye disease. So ocular inflammation is a physiological response to the invading pathogens or antigens, and it is due to infection or injury that can result in ocular inflammatory diseases, mainly allergy, conjunctivitis, dry eye disease, scleritis, keratitis, uveitis, etc. Excessive immunity response can also damage the healthy tissues, and this can affect parts of the ocular system that become tender and inflamed. And also some patients may have visual loss in chronic or severe diseases. So the consequences basically are dependent on a tissue destruction and also the neurosecretory block, which are mediated by the immunocytokines, and this may cause chronic neural damage as well in these patients, which can lead to reduced reflex tear secretion, loss of sensory drive to the lacrimal gland, and also decreased corneal sensitivity, leading to the secondary dry eye. So these levels are definitely dependent on various NGFs and CGRPs, and they also cause severity of the dry eye disease. So as I already talked about inflammation, there are some immunological disorders like Sjogren's syndrome as well, and aging sometimes also plays an important role in these kind of patients. Environmental factors are important in cases of air damage and also in allergies in such patients, which can cause a whole T cell activation and infiltration. Then there's an influx of calcium into the cells and all the mechanisms that can cause inflammatory mechanisms which increase the activation of cytokines. So we can see here, I already discussed in the previous slides, that this can cause apoptosis and stimulation of the secondary growth factors and neurosecretory block. And MMP9 is a very important parameter in damaging the ocular surface in dry eye disease. And nowadays we are getting a lot of MMP9 strips to find out dry eye in such patients in our clinics. So they are secreted at high levels by ocular surface epithelium patient with dry eye disease. The consequences of this inflammation also causes positive feedback loop of inflammatory mediators, and this continues the inflammation. So as we look in the healthy eye, we can look at the dry eye disease. There's a whole lot of increased cytokines and various other modulators that damage the ocular surface. So the patients that come up with these kind of symptoms are having stinging, dryness, blurring, grittiness, crusty lid margins, redness, epiphora, foreign body sensation, which can be exacerbated by increased tear evaporation in wind and air conditions, and also they are exacerbated by prolonged breathing, which causes decreased blinking mechanism in these kind of patients. So how do we diagnose these inflammations? First, we need to find out the patient on examination on a slit lamp. What is the response? What are the different therapeutic approaches that may cause indication and inflammation in these kind of patients? So we have to do a whole array of diagnostic tests, and we can also have to look around all the external signs in these patients, and TBUT is also an important parameter in such patients, and NIBUT is also there. Staining is a very important part in these kind of patients. Schirmer test we can do in our OPDs, and MMP9, as I discussed, there are strips available in the market which now we can look on in these kind of patients. Impression cytology is a doable exercise, but it's not very commonly done in our clinics. The standard therapies are important because patient education forms an important role in computer related vision diseases, and also various environmental dietary modifications may help in Sjogren kind of patients who are having immunomodulatory diseases. So patients with moderate to severe dry eye should be considered for anti-inflammatory therapy with a whole array of anti-inflammatory therapies, which are cyclosporin A, corticosteroids, oral tetracyclines and macrolides, omega-3 fatty acids, but we have to be very sure of getting not into the overdose kind of spectrum. So, as I discussed, corticosteroids, tetracyclines, and macrolides have significant risks which are associated with long-term use in these kind of patients to address the inflammation. Cyclosporin A forms an important role which has been approved by FDA in 2003 for treating patients with dry eye disease. The potential mode is the inhibition of the T cell activation, and the primary mode is to bind to the cyclophilin and causing calcineurin not to be activated, and in turn immunosuppression. So there are various formulations that come into the market, which is Restasis, and also other things that we can use in such kind of patients. So we have seen improvement of the signs and symptoms of disease in these kind of patients at all severity levels, and they form the decreased in, so they help in the treatment of dry eye disease in such patients, and this has also been proved over the literature in past things. So there is a comparison of cyclosporin 0.05 which improved the dry eye symptoms over 6 months. So long-term safety parameters have also shown safety of this drug through the blood levels, and no detectable levels of cyclosporin have been found in the systemic absorption. There are a lot of adjunctive therapies as well, like topical steroids in mild quantities and for longer and for shorter durations. So these are quickly, I'm just going over the summary. The inflammation is one of the 4 key mechanisms of dry eye disease, and stimulation of inflammatory mediators, especially MMP9, and there are a lot of therapies for treating inflammation, including artificial tears and cytokine inhibitors, and cyclosporin A is effective at reducing the signs and symptoms of disease. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Gunjan.